but I think you can see why. I have managed to make myself look like something out of Dallas. And I'm very, very proud of myself. So I apologise for being late. Hello to everybody. This is one of my favourite bits of opening the pub doors here at Katie's Arms, is watching you guys all roll in, half cut, naked, half dressed, unshowered, cast out by all your family members, missing an arm or a leg, thruple times divorced, thrown out from your church, all of you. Welcome one, welcome all. Everybody, come on in. Come on into a place where there's no judgment. You can drink till you can't drink anymore, until you can't walk. You can smoke yourself into oblivion should you choose to. You can eat your own sandwiches that you brought from, I don't know. I was going to say Marks and Spencer's, but that's a bit fancy. What's it called? Summerfield. Is that what it's called? Anyway, you can, yes, hello the Netherlands. And we have North Wales here. Cheers to North Wales. Thank you for being here. Love a bit of North Wales. Hello. As just said, listen very carefully. As just said this only once. I know, really, one of my favorite. That's what happened when I was doing. Who was I doing? Zelensky, wasn't it? And I went a little bit into a hello mode. Texans. Hello. Lots of Texans here. Hello from Cumbria. I see you in Blackpool. Blackpool is going to be this. Blackpool, I think, may become the kind of de facto Katie's Arms in real life, because, Blackpool is really gathering pace. We're going to be 1,000 strong, hopefully. The owner there has been epic and put billboards up with our name on it. So we're going. Hi from Texas. There's a lot of us. South Dakota's here as well. Buckinghamshire and Ireland. And this is where Northampton. This is where we need to be in front of a gleaming world map. And we get to all the little lights come on all over the world as we all tune in or pile on in to the Katie's Arms. And I just think we must get that done. One day when Mark isn't so busy making 1,000 tickets and a 1,000 flyers for us to hand out, going around soon handing out flyers in towns where I'm going to be performing, mostly just to say hello to everybody, really, to give people a bit of cheer. When lovely Mark isn't so busy, we will have to work on animating this. Big up from Bedford. Ooh, Bedford. I've got news about Bedford, but I'm not allowed to say it yet. But just know this, Bedford, the fight is not over. And just to let people know who don't know, Bedford was one of the first venues that booked Katie's Live, Love, Love. I was going to say Katie's Arms, but it's not. Live, Love, Love, the comedy stand-up tour. And then the council came straight out and pulled it because it's their venue. And they put out a press release that says, we welcome all voices here and we welcome diversity. But as long as it's not me. Anyway, just to say, in a way that I'm not allowed to say because Mark will kill me, but the fight goes on. So anyway, everybody, cheers. Thank you for coming to the Katie's Arms. Thank you for your support this week. And thanks for being so kind. Everybody asking, yes, barefoot's what I drink. Much criticism from people who know about wine, but people like me who are very basic, very excited. And £5 in Waitrose, I think last week. I'm not sure right now. I've even got notes to talk about certain things. I also will answer, hello, Jamaica. I love that someone's just sat in their living room in Milton Keynes going, hi from Jamaica. I've got some things I want to talk to you about, some things I should talk to you about. Otherwise, Mark will divorce me. And then some other thoughts. So all sorts of things. J.K. Rowling, exactly, she's on the list. So let's get cracking. Shall I start with things that I'm supposed to tell you? No, I can't be bothered. Let's start with things that are concerning us, shall we? Which is, it's a bit shit right now, isn't it? So grey. How much more greyness can we take? When you think about it, it starts getting grey in about, October, November, December, January, February, and it's about to get cold again. 6 months of dark, cold, grey. So if, like me, you are a sun person, like, so the sort of person I see on train, on platforms, when they see the sun, they find it, and it's like being, oh, I meant to bring my daffodils in to show you. It's like being a daffodil, right? We just turn our heads and stare at the sun, and I hope that it will go into my bones somehow and warm them up. So if you're a sun person, this grey is so hard. I never believed in that whole, sunlight deficiency stuff. And I remember during The Apprentice, one of the tasks we had on a week that I was in charge, we had to sell medical devices. And one of them was a lamp that kind of replicated sunlight. And I was like, what a load of old bollocks. And then we had to go and sell it on Harley Street, which we did very effectively. But actually now I'm like, that's an excellent idea. Put me under a lamp and don't move me. So we're getting to spring and daffodils are here. And if daffodils are here, it means the spring is nearly here. People know about the daffodil comment. I mentioned during my stint in Celebrity Big Brother that because we're not talking about lady parts because I talk about them too much, but mine looked like a battered daffodil. So that's where the daffodil thing sort of chimes with people. Everybody, I want your views. Nicola Bewley. I know we're not allowed to speculate. That's reserved for, I think, Kay Burley on Sky News. So you have to be part of the news media to be allowed to speculate. But if you're an ordinary person who might have extreme sympathy for Nicola, you're not allowed to say anything. But if you are a woman whose half her face is now behind her bloody ears, Kay Bewley. What's she called? Bewley, isn't it? Kay Bewley? Burley. Kay Burley. Confusing. Kay Burley. Half her face. If you meet her in real life, it's weird. Like on TV, this is the thing with plastic surgery, right? If you have a lot of plastic surgery, on camera, you look kind of like Amanda Holden, right? You look kind of like good. But in real life, it's really weird. Without the makeup and the lighting, the face is wrong. Kay Burley, same. If Kay Burley cried, tears would come out from just about here, at the back of her head, because that's where this skin is now. In real life, she's a really, really weird looking woman. Anyway, good evening, Katie and everybody. Yes, a battered daffodil. Now I can't get out that. Yes, so next time you see a daffodil wilting, really launched into my Joey Deacon. Next time you see a battered daffodil wilting, think of my, because that's what it looks like. I mean, I think. What do I know? Back to Kay Burley. Burley, yes. You're late, Spencer. You complete twat. Where were you? Trout-lipped Holden, exactly. And in real life, she looks also like a lollipop, because that's what happens with like famous people. They're so skinny, and then their head is really, really large, so they look like a lollipop. But then this bit looks like there's been fire damage. In the same way that what was that guy called that used to do the briefings? Next slide, please. I did an impression of him once. Witty, Burns victim, right? Yeah, we know. Right. Anyway, back to Nicola Bewley. Who's Kate Burley? Is she called Kate Burley? The silly cow from Sky News. Anyway, back to Nicola. So here's my hope. Is it better to look weird or old? Oh, God. Definitely old but weird, like me. Old but, not allowing that. Old but like knee-high socks and inappropriate earrings and everything that's a little sign that says, don't mistake me for a pissy old lady, even though I am a little bit pissy. You know what I mean? Nicola Bewley. Here's my thing. I hope Nicola is watching this. I hope what she did, and this is speculation, so knock, arrest me if you will. Crazy old, exactly. That's what I want to, that's my aspirational look. Crazy old, like, come near me and maybe I'll eat your face. Let's focus. Nicola, I think, right, so let's hope she's watching. Nicola, if you're watching, yes, girl, yes. Bloody, if you were here, I wish you were here. I wish Nicola Bewley was in where I am, the Katie's Arms, also known as the piano room, the Katie's Arms, and then we would have drinks and we would lock the door and we would put more locks on it and I would allow no one in at all. And I would never let someone in if she didn't ever want to see anyone ever again. And I would put her in a lovely little space here next to something warm, and I would put blankets around her and mohair sweaters, and I would give her my mohair socks from, what's that posh place? White Company. And I would put duvet around her and put lights and daffodils all round her, and some little, what are those lights that come with batteries, you know what? And I would make everything twinkly, and I would tell her that she never needed to leave the Katie's Arms again if she didn't wish to. And then she would stay there like some rescue dog until she was ready to come out, or never. That's what I want. That's where I'd want to put her. So Nicola, if you're watching, that offer is on. And then the other thing, if she was watching, is I want to say, if you did pull that off and you did run away, bloody brilliant. And that's what I want to have happened. I want you, Nicola, to be in Mexico on a beach, drinking bloody as much as you want to drink till you feel better, as long as you don't go in the sea. And I want you to have run away, just to find some breathy breath. And then maybe you were going to come back, but maybe now you can't because everyone's been an utter bastard. And so maybe you can't, and that's also fine. And you know what? As long as you're breathing, that's also fine. And as long as you made it through till tomorrow, that's also fine. And know this, Nicola, I know you probably don't see this, but I just imagine that you do. Know that most good people on here, don't give a single flying shit about anything that you might think matters. Like what people have said, what people think, who's done what, who's a bad guy, who's a good guy, whether you drink 450 bottles of wine a day or you don't, whether you blah, 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 or you don't. Who gives a shit? As long as you're still breathing, you're winning. And many of us drink much more than we probably should, including me. And many of us have done terrible things in our lives that you haven't. Probably me much worse. And let me say for certain, if anybody had a spotlight pushed into their worlds, I've had that, and that's fine, and I've asked for it. I asked for it. But their lives wouldn't look so great because most people have shit they're hiding. And most people who pretend to be perfect are so far from perfect, it's not even true. And the harder people try and show you their lovely kitchen, and look, I've just repainted this and it's grey and cream, and here's my Jo Malone candle. Well, piss off. That's great, but your life is probably shit. And you know, I don't want to cast aspersions about your husband probably noshing someone off in an alleyway, but I'm just saying, no one's life is perfect. And anybody who has something to say about someone else's life has probably got a lot going on their own. So bugger me, I bloody hope that woman ran away. And I also feel like at the moment, women are getting a lot of shit from a lot of places. And I'm not one of those burn your bra types, as you know. And I've hung out with men most of my lives. And I move ahead. And I probably consider myself more male than I am, you know, properly a female. But I am a bit done now with women being criticised when they're just trying to make it through to the other side of a day. So she probably got up, sorted shit out, got kids in the car, probably had to bloody pack lunches and do their teeth and find uniforms and find pants and find socks and blah, blah, blah. Had to sort the bloody kitchen out before she left because it's probably a bloody shit bloody thing. Sort out her own clothes and face, and you're supposed to still look like you haven't been slapped in the arse or punched in the face or whatever women are supposed to look like when they're going for a walk, and get a dog and get it in the car and have a job and have a husband, and it's a bit much, quite frankly. And if any woman, including myself, went to walk dogs by the river and then finally decided just to, you know what, I'm going to F off to Heathrow and never come back, actually it's perfectly understandable. So that's what I think. And everyone else can do one. Okay, that's how I felt. I just think lots of people have had a very hard time. Whatever they need to get through, great. And if you, many people have drunk too much, done too much drugs, have gambled too much, have hidden too much. But you know why? Because life is bloody brutal out there. And no one's supposed to be talking about it. And we're all pretending to be like, everything's fine. It's not. And people are not. And I just want her to be, I want her to be alive. I want her to be in a bikini on a beach in Mexico, and I want some bronze guy called something, Horatio, to be massaging her down with oils of all kinds. Okay, I'm over that now. Right, what should we talk about? Exactly, so long as you're okay. Exactly, and that goes to anyone. And you want to complain because someone's menopausal and feeling a bit shit. Go away. And it doesn't matter if you're not menopausal. It doesn't matter if you're 30 or 20 or a teenager and all plump and upright and, have bits that are directionally facing where they're supposed to. Life can still be so frigging hard you don't want to get up or go out the front door. And no one's really talking that kind of real talk. Okay, a bit cross there. Let me say a few things that I'm supposed to say. No, that lovely Mark says, because he's really, as we know, the smart one. Katie's Arms, yes, you guys are just amazing, but if you sign up, www.katiesarms.com, it means that lovely Mark can tell you things when he needs to tell you things. And because you're all epic, and last week I was not mentioning Bournemouth, but you all emailed in, Bournemouth got bigger and then sold out again. So Bournemouth is now going to be epic, but it is totally sold out. Let me just say, can I just say, obviously there's nothing going on and there's definitely not anything happening. But if you live in Wokingham, let me say that correctly, Wokingham, do you live near, around or within drivable distance, which is essentially all of the planet as far as I'm concerned, Wokingham. If you do, please get a pen or something, or please, I don't know, coming to the Bournemouth show. Mark is what they call a responsible adult. I know. It's exhausting. Ugh. He put up hooks today in one of the children's bedrooms that my lovely, brilliant father made, crafted, built from wood, painted, and then lovely Mark put them up. And that takes about 50 minutes. And if it was me with a screwdriver, be up in 2 minutes, it would be wonky, probably fall down about 5 minutes later, and I'd probably drill through the electrics. Mark, 50 minutes, perfectly as you would want it, absolute everything put away tidily, and the carpet hoovered. You see? Wokingham, if you live there, for God's sake, email landlord at Norwich. Who's that person? Right, hold that thought. Wait, have I got the wrong place? Norwich. No, I think I'm right. So, wait, Wokingham, email lovely Mark, landlord at katiesarms.com, and in the subject line, put Wokingham. Did you see me just double check then? I'm so scared of saying the wrong town. Wokingham. And that's exciting, and do that because it'll be perfect and you'll be with your family, and that's what we must have happen. And I can also tell you, we are coming, whoever just mentioned Norwich, not that of course we're necessarily coming there, we're coming to the East Coast. It's just being arranged. So do email landlord at katiesarms.com if maybe you, if you were in Norwich, for example, maybe you could email him with Norwich in the subject line. And also Somerset is coming, other dates on the East Coast. And then we are now 80% sold in Stafford. Blackpool is doing great, and you must come to Blackpool. Come to Blackpool anyway, just to feel better. And Southampton, we just got dates in Southampton. And that's all on at katiesarms.com. And all ticket prices are kept like as low as we can, 20 quid, some are 12. They're as low as they can be. So please do keep signing up. And this tour, I can feel it. Once we've got this year underway, we just had a new theatre agent get in touch with us because they want to book more dates. So the reason I'm talking of this is not about me, but to tell you that, oh yes, we're going to come to Scotland. I think that's happening now. To tell you that you are turning the oil tanker. I told you you were. And we know this will be a year long. Well, it's been 5 years long. Well, it's been 20 years long in the making. 5 years of being in the wilderness. But the oil tanker will turn it this year. And we are. And it's happening every damn day. So that's really exciting. So the main message is landlord@katiesarms.com. Just stick where you are on the subject line and we'll get tickets for wherever's closest to you if you'd like to come. I mean, and we also, I will always say it's about the audience. Cardiff, we did have Wales, but Wales just flat pulled. Wales are really weird because, the People's Republic of Wales, and I was banned from schools in Wales, and they're just really quick at culling stuff. So we'll try and get to a speakeasy in Wales, and we'll work with some Welsh people for that to happen. Why have I lost the ability to speak? So that's Nicola Bewley. Nicola Sturgeon. Yeah, sure, she resigned. Sure thing, Nicola. Sure thing you weren't told that tomorrow we're going to release this and press these charges unless you efforty off. Yeah. Sure thing, Nicola, you made that decision from your big heart, because we all know about how big your heart is, Nicola, because you're a hard-nosed old wench. And what really bums me off about these people is they go, oh, I'm leaving. Well, actually, this is my intention to leave, and then there'll be some more leaving, and then I'm going to leave a bit more, and then there'll be a big leaving thing, and then there'll be some more leaving. But then they never buggering leave, do they? They never piss off. Do I do meet and greets? Oh, yeah. Don't even imagine. I'm going back to Sturgeon, don't worry. So what happens at these events, as anybody who's been to one of them will testify, I do my thing. Usually you have a drink break in the middle. If it's not a speakeasy, it's an event. And then there's another bit, and then we usually have some people on stage or people asking questions. And then afterwards, I go and quickly put on some deodorant, have a quick flannel wash, because honestly, there's bits of me. It's just, there's sweat. I'm just going to say, even under these. Oh, look how red that is. What's going on? Some sort of disease. There's sweat here. So I have a little flannel wash backstage. Then I come back out and we all get to hang out in the bar. Lovely Mark's there, someone else, and we do hugs, and we can sign books if anybody wants to buy a book or whatever you want to have. Or I sign bodies. I've signed bits of people. I reckon I can get Liv on. Well, you could choose. Some people could have Liv written on theirs. Laugh if yours is a bit longer. Or you can make it longer. Oh yeah, so I'm pretty much last man standing. And then in Blackpool, after 2 hours of that, we all went over the road to the pub on the pier. So, and they kept the doors open until we were the last people standing on the last of the pier thing. So don't imagine these events as I'm not one of those wankers that just I've seen these people. They hide backstage beforehand, which is sort of fine because you're thinking. But then afterwards they do their thing and then they piss off. An audience that's taken time and trouble and spent their money and had to get petrol, and many people stay over places, and someone I remember at Blackpool turned up and I went, oh, are you? We were doing the line after where I get to hug everybody. I was like, are you staying over? And they were like, yeah, but our bed and breakfast smells like shit. Literally, their room smelled of shit, and they were trying to find where the shit was before they came out to the show because they had. And that is what I'm talking about. That's the Katie's Arms. People who probably can't afford to stay over, and then you need to put some wine in your glass. Okay, we'll wait. And then managed to find somewhere they maybe could afford, but then it smelled of shit. So then they had to find the shit before the show because they were going to go back to a room that smelled of shit. But they were still there. And that's why it's brilliant, because then we all go over the road, and by the time you've had at least 15 pints, probably doesn't smell so much of shit. What I'm saying is it's just a festival of lovely things, and I love it. Can't remember what we were talking about now, but all I'm going to say is yes, we all hang out afterwards, and it's very great. And you can, if you have strange ideas about Lovely Mark, Lovely Mark is all yours. And then one time we were doing hugs at Blackpool, and a lovely gentleman who maybe had overindulged slightly fell black. So Lovely Martine, who's my favourite theatre manager ever, shouldn't really say that, she'd made this sort of sparkly backdrop for us to do photos and have a laugh in front of. And this one gentleman, so lovely, he's probably here, he fell backwards through the sparkly backdrop. And it was sort of fantastic, but people towards the back thought maybe I'd punched him, but I hadn't. Katie, do I know? Oh no, I don't think I do. Nicola Sturgeon. Yes, that is what we were talking about. I think she was pushed out, absolutely. She says she's buggering off, that's right. And the thing that pisses me off is they don't go, do they? Unlike, so if someone says to you, oh, I'm leaving my job tomorrow, so you don't see them again, these bastards, they say they're leaving, and then they're bloody back, aren't they? The next day, they're back. You know, and I know, we're going to see more of Nicola Sturgeon over the next, whatever, couple of weeks than we've ever seen her. And she told us she was leaving, but they don't piss off. Like Boris, they don't piss off. It's all a shit show. It is. It is. But you know what? We're making it through. And as you see from on here, which is so important on here, that you guys are much more important than us, you're not on your own. And everybody else here is trying to muddle their way through it as well. Labour says they'll get in next year. Well, how long more do we have any kind of Conservatives for? Not that these were Conservatives anyway. Frankly, I think we're over politicians. I think the political class is, I'm hoping one day it'll just be done for, and ordinary people like us can kind of organise ourselves in places where we're not remotely linked to anything that's government run, and we can just, you know, future communities will live free of all this shit. That's my hope, is that one day our free roaming kids will live wildly away from government control. Live, not, I mean, off-grid is rather overstated, but in communities that don't belong to government control. That's the only way we're going to wrest this thing back. And that might not be in my lifetime, but we'll give it a bloody good go. Right, Carol Vorders for PM. Isn't she marvellous in many ways? We don't agree on everything and that's fine, but when it comes to Michelle Mone, I think she's terrific. So, I promised to finish on time. Both parties are Labour, exactly. Let me just... There's one little individual who I'm just going to block. Let me just explain. One thing you don't get to do is talk about my children. At that point, you can offer to piss. Thank you. My ideal end scenario for Ukraine, well, I mean, it's just an absolute bullshit thing anyway, isn't it? It's being perpetuated by people who want the war, which Ukrainians certainly don't. Russia's offered peace about 50,000 times, isn't being allowed to have peace, but eventually this sort of Zelensky loving has to end. I think the war would have been over, I don't know, a good year ago if it hadn't been for Europe perpetuating it. That's what I think. So we end on that. Nicola, if you're watching, Julie, we hope you're alive and well and in Mexico and having a fabulous time. And if you're not and you need to hide here at the Katie's Arms, please do. And ignore everything every other bugger says about you, because no one else gives a shit. And that applies to all of you good people as well. Love you. Go out there. Be the best version of you or the worst version of you that you want to be. Don't apologise to anyone. Don't feel bad for anything either. That's a wasted emotion. Anytime you feel yourself feeling guilty or worrying about something that happened before, or worrying about what someone said who you saw, or they looked at you funny, or you thought they didn't include you, let that go. Do not be weighed down by things you don't need to worry about. Just focus on getting through till tomorrow, still breathing, and then we're going to get through till spring when the sun will come out and we'll all feel better. Right, and I will see you somewhere on the road. Do remember, if you live anywhere, you know, but particularly Wokingham, checking the word again. I mean, I can't talk about Norwich, but if you live there, or if you live anywhere and you want to just put where you live in the subject line, and do sign up for Katie's Arms. It means we can let you know when these events are happening. And I'm super proud of you all because you are making this happen, and that's a glorious thing. So we will be together on the road. And it's a great way, I think, of us all trying to feel better and make our way through this current madness that we face. Okay, my loves, I will see you. I'll see you on the road.